Hey class, welcome back. Welcome to week 3 of introductory psychology. And we have a big week this week. First off, today is actually the last day to take exam 1, which covers chapters 1 through 4. I think so far about half the class, maybe a little less, a little more, has taken the exam, and I've been pretty impressed with the scores, but I know there's quite a few of you out there who still have not taken the exam. You do have until tonight at 11:59 p.m. to take it. I imagine there are many of you are probably getting maybe some last minute studying in, before you take the test, and that's fine. Take all the time you need, but just know that it does expire at 11:59 p.m. So please be mindful of that, and best of luck for those of you who have not taken the exam yet. I will have all exam scores posted tomorrow morning after the exam has been finalized. So there's that, and once you have finished exam 1, I would go ahead and start with this week's reading. We have 2 big readings this week. We're reading chapters 5, which covers learning. We're going to be looking at how all organisms learn, particularly how humans learn, but a lot of what we're learning about will be applied to all other organisms as well. Specifically, we're going to be looking at classical conditioning, operant conditioning, and observational learning. And anytime you hear that word conditioning, you can mentally replace it with the word learning. But we're going to be talking about classical conditioning, the learning of involuntary behaviors, operant conditioning, the learning of voluntary behaviors, and observational learning, where we learn by watching and observing others. And this is the primary ways in which all organisms learn, especially human beings. But there's a lot of terminology. It's a very dense terminology chapter, especially when we're talking about classical conditioning and operant conditioning. So it's very important that you are mindful of the difference, that you are aware of the difference, and you are aware of the terminology used in this particular chapter, because it can be a little confusing. I hear it all the time. People mix up positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, punishment, etc. They mix those things up all the time, and it's very easy to do. So take very good notes when you're reading this chapter, and ask questions if you have them. Please ask questions of myself and of your peers. After chapter 5, we'll be looking into chapter 6, which is about memory, specifically human memory. There's a lot going on in this chapter. We're going to be looking at some older models of memory, how we used to think about memory, and some more updated models, how we now think about memory. We're going to look at how imperfect human memory is. It's really good, but it is definitely flawed. It's not perfect. We'll then look at different ways in which we can improve our memories. Memory is a skill. It's like any other skill. The more you practice it, the more you work on it, the better you can get at it. So every single one of us is capable of having a phenomenal memory. So read chapters 5 and 6. We will have a discussion post that will focus on the contents of chapter 5, specifically looking at operant and classical conditioning. And I'm going to be asking you to provide real-world personal examples of operant conditioning and classical conditioning that take place in your life. So again, it's very important that you understand the differences and you understand the nuances of those two concepts, because I'm going to be kind of a stickler about your examples and making sure that you do understand. This is going to be, your examples are going to be your way of conveying to me that you understand the terminology. So please be mindful of that. And also, I have posted the discussion. It's up and live. It's due on Friday, 11:59 p.m., as well as 2 peer responses. And while I'm on that topic, I wanted to address your discussion posts and responses. For the most part, they have been wonderful. I've really enjoyed the conversations that have been generated by you guys, by your thoughts and your discussions and your responses. But I want to say that if you have not received a 15 out of 15 on either discussion post so far, please make sure that you are aware of the guidelines for both posting and responding to posts, your peers. I noticed a few people I deducted some points this week because you responded to your peers, you maybe even asked questions, but there just wasn't a lot of depth to it. It wasn't a lot of context to it. I was looking for a little more. Not to say that your responses are bad, but I'm just thinking you could have given me a little more. You could have asked a little more, or maybe provided a little more context. So what I recommend is please check out that document again, the guidelines document that I posted in week 1. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to let me, email me. You can email me before you make a discussion post and say, hey, does this look okay? And I can give you some feedback from there, as long as you give me plenty of time. Give me at least like 12 to 24 hours of updates. Okay, so a lot on our plates already, but there's one last thing I want to talk about, and it's our first writing assignment that I posted. It is response paper 1. And essentially, response paper 1, you are going to watch a short TED Talk, which stands for Technology, Education, and Design. You're going to watch the TED Talk, and I provided you with some questions that I would like you to respond to from the TED Talk. So you'll have to watch it. I think it's about 17 minutes or so, less than 20 minutes. Watch that. It's about memory. It's about the fallibility of memory. It's about eyewitness testimony and some really interesting topics that I think you'll enjoy watching. So watch the video. It's posted on D2L. The response is there. I'm looking for a one-page response that answers the questions I provided and is in the correct format that I've outlined. Please make sure you have looked at the document that I provided. I'm going to be a stickler about this. When I say Times New Roman 12-point font, that's exactly what I mean. I don't want Comic Sans 10-point font or Courier or anything like that, as fancy as those are. I'm going to be kind of a stickler about stuff like that. I will not hesitate to either count off or just ask you, please to resubmit it if it's not in the correct format. And make sure your response is actually addressing the questions. I'm interested in your thoughts about memory, but I want to narrow the conversation so we're all on the same page. We're all talking about the same thing. So please make sure you not only stick to the conversation, stick to the questions, but you also use the correct format. That is due by next Monday, which I believe is the 26th. That is due by 11:59 p.m. There is a Dropbox for you to submit your assignment. I would prefer those to be in Word, in doc form, so I can read them. Those of you who have Macs, if you're using Pages, just make sure that you convert your document over to DocX before you submit it. It's hard for me to see it if it's a Mac document, even though I use a Mac. For whatever reason, D2L is kind of weird about that. So let me know if you have any questions about that assignment before you turn yours in. So just a quick rehash. Finish the first exam if you have not done so. Read chapters 5 and 6. Go ahead and read those and then respond to the discussion post. Make sure you respond to 2 of your peers, followed by response paper 1, which is due by next Monday, a week from today at 11:59 p.m. Please email me if you have any questions about anything I've just covered, about the chapter contents, about your assignments. Also, there is a discussion post, a general discussion post. If you have any questions about the course, about the content, anything, feel free to leave comments there as well, and I'll try to get back to those as soon as possible. Other than that, I'm going to leave you to it. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Monday. I can't emphasize that enough. I got up and got a great run in before it starts to get warm again, and so I suggest if you have not done so, get outside before it gets hot again, because it's bound to do so pretty soon. So anyways, hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful week. Feel free to email me if you have questions or post if you have questions. Otherwise, I will see you guys next week. All right, take care.